The commanding general. I have formed a picture of a commanding general which is not chimerical. I have seen such men. The first of all qualities is courage. Without this, the others are of little value, since they cannot be used. The second is intelligence, which must be strong and fertile in expedients. The third is health. He should possess a talent for sudden and appropriate improvisation. You don't expect that. A talent for sudden and appropriate improvisation. If I didn't make this clear enough, he's kind of going through the characteristics that he believes a good commanding general should have. He should be able to penetrate the minds of other men while remaining impenetrable himself. He should be endowed with the capacity of being prepared for everything, with activity accompanied by judgment, with the skill to make proper decision on all occasions, and with exactness of discernment. Good list. He should have a good disposition, free from caprice, and be a stranger to hatred. And caprice is like you're just going to change your mind all the time. He should punish without mercy, especially those who are dearest to him, but never from anger.
Okay. Because remember earlier he was talking about
kind
of chill with the lashings.
Yeah. But he says you should punish without mercy, especially those who are dearest to you. And I think that goes to what he was saying about troops. Hey, you're going to draft people, you got to make sure you draft the rich people too. And I think he's saying you got to treat people fairly, right?
Even when it's
one of your boys.
Yeah.
He should always be grieved when he is forced to execute the military rules, and should have the example of Menelaus constantly before his eyes. And Manlius, actually Manlius, he was like a Roman hero during the Gallic siege, and but beyond that, he was sort of like I want to call him a human rights advocate, but maybe that's too strong of a word. But anyways, he ended up getting thrown from a great height and killed as his execution. But he's sort of seen as a guy that stood up. He almost was in like an Alamo scenario, like in Texas when they stood and were killed. He was in one of those situations, but he wasn't killed during that Gallic siege of Rome. Anyways, back to the book. He should discard the idea that it is he who punishes, and should persuade himself and others that he only administers the military laws. With these qualities, he will be loved, he will be feared, and without doubt obeyed. The functions of a general are infinite. He must know how to subsist his army and how to husband it, how to place it so that it will not be forced upon to fight except when he chooses, how to form his troops in an infinity of different dispositions, how to profit from that favorable moment which occurs in all battles and which decides their success. All these things are of immense importance and are as varied as the situations and dispositions which produce them. In order to see all these things, the general should be occupied with nothing else the day of the battle. The inspection of the terrain and the disposition of his troops should be prompt like the flight of an eagle. This done, his orders should be short and simple. As for instance, the first line will attack, and the second will be in support. Boom, that's it. Keep it simple. The generals under his command must be incompetent indeed if they do not know how to execute this order and to perform the proper maneuvers with their respective divisions. Thus, the commander-in-chief will not be forced to occupy himself with it, nor be embarrassed with the details. For if he attempts to be a battle sergeant and be everywhere himself, he will resemble the fly in the fable that thought he was driving the coach. Thus, on the day of the battle, I should want the general to do nothing. His observations will be better for it. His judgment will be more sane, and he will be in a better state to profit from the situations in which the enemy finds himself during the engagement. And when he sees an occasion, he should unleash his energies, hasten to the critical point at top speed, seize the first troops available, advance them rapidly, and lead them in person. These are the strokes that decide battles and gain victories. The important thing is to see the opportunity and know how to use it. So what he's saying there is you got to be detached. He's saying you got to be detached, and then you got to stay back and you got to look around. Now, he also says once you see the critical moment, you got to get up in there and make it happen. Mm-hmm. But he's saying you definitely can't get laid down in the weeds. You can't be the sergeant that's trying to do everything. Back to the book. Many commanding generals only spend their time on the day of the battle in making their troops march in a straight line, in seeing that they keep their proper distances, in answering questions which their aides-de-camp come to ask, in sending them hither and thither, and in running about incessantly themselves. In short, they try to do everything, and as a result, do nothing. So this is just... You're in a leadership position. You try and do everything yourself, you're not going to do anything at all. Then that's the same thing as prioritize and execute. If you try and solve all the problems that are happening at the same time, you're not going to solve any of those problems. They appear to me like men with their heads turned, who no longer see anything and who are only able to do what they have done all their lives, which is to conduct troops methodically under the orders of a commander. How does this happen? It is because very few men occupy themselves with the higher problems of war. They pass their lives drilling troops and believe that this is the only branch of the military act. When they arrive at the command of armies, they are totally ignorant, and in default of knowing what should be done, they do what they know. That is so classic. Mm-hmm. It's so classic. When people don't know, they don't understand something, they do what they know how to do. They always default into what they know how to do. Mm-hmm. Their minds are closed.